Welcome to this video. I'm just going to go into a little flow. If you haven't seen these videos before, welcome back if you have. My intention is unity, oneness, the highest levels of love, light. Some of this is meant to be felt, not necessarily understood on a linear scale. I'm going to do a little light language. Moke moete ushtak hiamukuayanet eok uanet ewawakiena. And as we feel into these new energies that are streaming in, full throttle, if you will, many of us are tapping into other versions, if you will, of certain timelines, of other things that are overlapping within our history. We are tuning into another story. We are tuning into the never-ending story, if you will. We are tapping into the residual effects of past stories having an effect after the fact. This can stir up feelings of doubt, feelings of fear, feelings of expectation, of thinking the worst, if you will, or allowing that which it is that we or seeking to run away from to catch up with us. So I'm seeing this in like many different plays on words here, so I'm just gonna keep going. For many of us are merging with these higher trajectories, if you will, and while this happens, we are required to integrate those other aspects that have, we should say, perpetuated or perplexed us from other events. These other events that have happened or have happened or have happened or, I'm being guided to play with this a little bit. So I'm seeing it's like they've happened, or have they happened? Are we tapping into what's happening in the future? I'm seeing parallel realities. I'm seeing beliefs about what we think has happened, and remnants of past time cycles being recycled, being reprocessed, if you will. And this stirs up the emotions and creates a distortion at times in our own field of perception. For we know not that we are perceiving and tapping into different realms of consciousness that have created access points that allow us to integrate these energies and process them at a faster rate of return, if you will, returning back to the original frequency in which we were meant to tune into, if you will. So these energies then clash. I'm hearing Clash of the Titans. I'm seeing lots right now. These energies push up against each other and they slish slosh around from one perspective. I'm hearing splish splash, I was taking a bath. Oh my gosh. So you guys, I'm being guided to share what just popped into my head when I saw that. Number one, washing it out. It's coming through in like these waves for some people, and it's giving us the opportunity to clean them out, to purge. I'm seeing, or we can sit in them and bathe in them and not drain the stuff that's coming up. I'm also being shown a scene from The Lost Boys. You guys ever remember that movie? And I think he takes a bath. I think it's Splish Splash, I was taking a bath, but that's not the right song, but it doesn't matter because it pulled that into my reality. So we are feeling lost, and sometimes we feel as if a lot of things are coming up from our childhood right now. The wounded child, things people did to hurt our feelings when we were younger. And this is, guys, I'm hearing this come through as the message to fill in the blanks, to fill in the gaps of these different visions that I'm tapping into. And this creates, also I'm seeing this reference to that movie, The Lost Boys. So what's that movie about? Vampires, you know, A lot of hidden things, dark things coming up. And so as we allow these feelings to, I'm seeing come up, essentially, we are being invited not to get completely submerged in them and allow them to merge with us without fighting, so to speak, to completely understand the distortions. For with this merge comes up distortions. So some of this is distortions we've had about ourselves. Some of these that are coming up are distortions that are in the distortion, that are in the distorted field. So we're tapping into these because they're being revealed. They're coming up and presenting themselves in these wave-like frequencies. And one of the easiest ways we can balance and harmonize is by feeding our inner child. So the wounded child is coming up. And the only way, what happens when somebody, a child falls down? Comfort. They want to be comforted and distracted. So I'm seeing a lot of people are looking for distractions right now because they don't feel comfortable. They feel raw. They feel sensitive. They feel a lot of this stuff is just coming up. So what I'm being shown is comfort thyself. Do what we feel needs to be done in order to bring us into a space of relaxation, play, do stupid things right now, especially right now. Get outside, get grounded. Of course, this is all the same stuff I say all the time, but notice if these things are coming up, and we can then activate or recognize where these triggers are coming from. These triggers can come up in the form of words, they can come up in the form of feelings, and they may be memories that are interlaced with past life or parallel currencies, if you will. So it's like energy running through these currents that are all merging and connecting and moving around us. And we're picking up like, hey, I remember when, or why do I feel like I might have drowned in a past life? Or I'm having deja vu right now. Or, so it's a lot of different things. And all of that is happening. Each person is experiencing their own universal, unique time cycle right now. So it's universal, we're all experiencing it, but many of us have been in different realities, but also what I'm seeing is we've all had different experiences. So the primary, I'm hearing we've rehearsed for this. This is the rehearsal dinner, is what I'm hearing. And many of us are feeling that. We are feeling that this is it. We are on the precipice of, I'm hearing, this is it. Make no mistake about it. As we allow ourselves to bathe in the frequencies, to feed our inner sense of playfulness, to connect with each other in a playful and non-hostile way, we then allow the hostile frequencies that seem as if they are assaulting us from all angles right now to soften. For as we interact and intermingle with one another from a softening perspective, all hostility, play on words, moves, integrates, and can then merge in a form of hospitality. For we begin to appreciate that each of us has been through, I'm hearing the ringer. For even if our lifetime this time around is full of peace and well-being, there have been many other lifetimes in which that was not necessarily the case. So there is an air of grievances that is being washed through the collective right now from one perspective. And those grievances that have been buried deep within our own biology, within our own chemistry, within our own earth frequencies, that which we have all chosen to move through is being brought up right now, is being rebirthed, if you will, so that we can then utilize all of this for the purpose of expediting this process. For as we allow all of this to come up in chunks, if you will, in large formats, in big pieces of information, I'm seeing emerge like you might be feeling sadness and grief one minute and anger and frustration the next, and totally tired another minute and totally revived the next day. And that's what we're doing is we're processing. And this is very difficult for many, for they are oftentimes unaware that this challenge is something they've accepted from one perspective, yet they haven't necessarily accepted it. So I'm seeing like people have agreed to do this, but then they change their mind. They're like, I don't think I signed up for this. And not everybody is, what I'm being shown is not everybody's going to stay in this. Some people are going to choose, they're going to say it's too much. But this is a gift because it gives us the ability to integrate so much from such a massive undertaking that we then create this flood of, so it is individual. This doesn't mean everybody's going to process all of their karma and all of their, what I'm hearing is beliefs about their issues. And I'm being guided to remind everybody that it is what we believe. So biology of belief, Bruce Lipton talks about this a lot. I really enjoy his work. But what we're really being invited to do is believe and trust in ourselves. Believe and trust that this is something that we can handle. And the way that we're going to be able to handle this, or to continue handling this, is playing. Go sit on a swing and swing back and forth. I'm seeing rock the cradle of love. Is that a Billy Idol song? Rock, like come into this rocking motion. Get some cranial sacral therapy. That's powerful right now for what we're experiencing. Rock ourselves, soothe our senses, calm the nervous system, play, go and do something spontaneous and fun. You know, watch a stupid movie and let go of all the judgments about, you know, who or what that actor is involved. Well, don't watch the movie if you feel like you're going to be totally triggered by who's in the movie because of what they're actively involved in. But this is part of it. It's like, let that go, because you've got to work on what you can control. You can control what you watch. But if it's going to trigger, and if it's going to trigger you, you have the control to turn it off. Just enough to keep you recharging. Because I'm seeing this coming through as a really like, it ain't over till it's over. Put in the request. I'm hearing put in the request with the big guy or gal. It's basically, or both, right? Mother, father. Put in, ask for help. We're not in this alone. We can ask for help from our guides. We can ask for help. And I'm being guided to share how I do that, because I don't call in any particular entities or names. I always ask to connect with and that's, some people do, and that's fine. There's no right or wrong, is what I'm being kind of guided to share for certain people. Everybody's got their own special way. That's a song, right? Phil Collins. So we've got our own special way to deal with this, and it might be calling in an angel or a guide. I'm hearing a particular hero from a particular teaching that has brought you peace and joy and comfort. It's like sometimes you just have to have a chocolate chip cookie with milk or almond milk. So sometimes that's just what we need to do. I'm hearing eating habits are going to be very different for people right now, but honor the body and really soothe it and comfort it, because the nervous system is really being overly taxed. And a lot of people are going to be feeling a huge, massive quantity of grief. This is what's coming through. Anger and grief. Anger, grief, joy, grief. Like, it's just this. So, calling in I always ask to connect with my oversoul. I connect directly to source energy, creator of my soul. This is just my own style. Whatever those words are, no labels. Whatever resonates with you, whatever floats your boat. I ask to connect with Mother Earth Gaia, and then I ask to connect fully with my highest level love light, unity consciousness. And I love using Andrew Bartz's non-competition, non-hierarchical order of my guides, ascension team, and helpers in any form, whatever form that is, angelic, galactic, elemental, earth tribe, ancestors, right? Whatever resonates that is in that full alignment of full 100% non-competition, do no harm. Do no harm, right? And those are the beings I ask to connect with when I'm working with others and when I'm going through this and I need help. So this grief, what I'm kind of being guided to talk about is that the grief that's coming up, I had this the other day, it was pretty massive yesterday. And then I had some messages come through and I was like, oh, stay neutral. My whole purpose was just to stay with it and just let it process. Don't try to overthink it. And it was about what would make me feel really good right now. So we're processing for the collective sometimes, but it's an individual journey at the same time. So what I might be processing may be based on what I'm tapping into for my own collective experience, because I have many different versions of myself. I'm a multidimensional being, as we all are. So I'm being shown all these different timelines that are overlapping and coming together, and anything that I haven't processed along the way is showing up for me massively. And that's happening to everyone and not necessarily in the same way. So one of my examples is I may have things coming up from an Atlantean lifetime that I still haven't processed that involves a lot of grief or a lot of fear or a lot of anger. So because that's coming up for me, there's also a collective of beings that are here on Earth now that are also tied to that Atlantean timeline or Lemurian or previous Earth timelines. It's not necessarily which Lemurian and Atlantean did have to do with Earth, but I think maybe you get where I'm going with that. It could be 200 years ago, right? It could be that you had a lifetime in Egypt or as a parallel reality. I know I'm kind of just going all over the place, but it could be this lifetime. It could be that you were told you weren't worthy when you were 10 and you never processed it, or you were abused and you thought you'd worked through it, right? But then here it is showing up. This can show up for us in dream time. I'm hearing that happen for a lot of people right now, myself included. It can show up in visions. A song can trigger it. A smell can trigger it. because remember, our extrasensory abilities are coming online really strong. Smell is a really powerful tool right now to utilize. It's a gift. Like, I remember using like Pantene in high school, right? So I smell Pantene and I'll have memories from high school come in. So it might be something, it might be that triggers you to then go, okay, now dissolve this. I now integrate this. I now process this. And we might feel like crying and not even know really where it came from. But recognizing too, this is part of this cycle that we're in right now from what I'm being shown. I'm going to end on this note. As we allow ourselves to process all of these energies and allow ourselves to integrate what we've been holding on to, we let go of the need to hang on. And we become more present. We become more of what we are now, in this now moment, which means we have access to much more than we did 10 minutes ago. For when we recognize now that we have shifted, now that we are feeling a memory and we are processing it, in that moment, we've created space. We've created a connection, a synapses, so to speak. I'm hearing like a neuron is fired. And it snaps us back into the senses, the higher senses, and out of senselessness, where we feel lost and confused, yet this is the soup, the soup cycle that we are in right now. So allowing ourselves to ride the wave, so to speak, to be the wave, to be the tool, the surfboard, and the wave, the water, and going deeper than that, and recognizing that this transition that many of us are feeling is a deeper aspect to us remembering what we are beyond these memories, what we are beyond these, I'm hearing Clash of the Titans again, what we are beyond these stories. For the stories that we have been birthed into from one perspective are no longer true from another perspective. They no longer enrapture us. They no longer hold our imagination, for we are imagining well beyond what others have imagined for us. For we are the creators of this new realm. And all must be purged in order to fully access the deeper elements of our truth, our true reality, our true deeper resonance that allows us to harmonize with a broader landscape, a broader vision, a broader vision to bring into this new plane. I'm seeing imagination, like seeing it, believing it, feeling it, processing it. This is all part of this, what we're experiencing. And we may feel lost in the soup at times, and that's okay. When we are going through those moments of raw exposure, exposing the nerves and the attachments and entanglements that are pulling the strings, if you will, we then access the ability to come back into our power. For those things, those memories no longer hold power or sway over us, if you will. And we regain our swagger, if you will. So, here we are. Guys, I just have to share, I just have to like laugh at myself. I have to just let go, because there's a lot coming through, a lot coming up. And I missed Wacky Wednesday this week. So I got to catch up. Here we are in this journey, in this expression. I'm hearing, let's rock this. And again, I'm back to rock the cradle of love. It's this soothing motion. Allow ourselves to be soothed. I'm just holding this space for a moment. Just breathing in and out. Connecting in with the heart, the body, Mother Earth. Just feeling love for ourselves and compassion for everybody on earth at this time. Everybody on earth. So much. So much. Finding that feeling of compassion kind of helps us to bring ourselves back into a place of that inner child. It brings us into a place of just appreciation for life. Thank you for tuning in. Hang in there. Namaste.